everyone. Back. It's been a couple of weeks. Thank you so much for coming back and bearing with me. I thought it's important to show that we all ought to take breaks. However lovely the things are that we're doing, however much we enjoy them, it's important to take a break. So I have to say, I feel so much better for it. Not so I was feeling that bad, but I was just feeling a bit like it's a kind of a constant race of trying to do things. And it's important, whatever you do, to take a break. So I thought it feels like it's a new month. It feels like it's a new season. For many of us, our children are going back to school. It might be today. And there's a certain amount of trepidation maybe as to what's in front of us. So I thought a four-leaf clover fold would be really appropriate. I've also been finding lots of four-leaf clovers. I'm just going to chat for a few minutes because, as usual, it usually takes people a few minutes to arrive. So I thought it would be good to have a little chat. So yesterday I found a few four-leaf clovers. This is one that I was beginning to press, and I wonder if any of you... Hello, Stephen! Yes, I had a really good break. It was a bit of a working break, clearing out a house and a garden, but it was a change of scene, and I hadn't been beyond 2 miles from home for 6 months, which just didn't feel good, to be honest. Horizons should never shrink that much in efforts to keep safe. So it was good just to have a change of scene. It really helps. I hope that you've all managed to take some kind of a break in whatever form. Hello, Amanda. Thank you for joining us. So yeah, I've been finding lots of four-leaf clover. Sometimes I found 5, sometimes 6, sometimes 7. I've found many, and I wonder whether you have. And they're such a lovely symbol of good luck. And I've got a little story about finding four-leaf clovers, because I don't know whether you have or whether you feel like, oh, it's so rare. There's lots of them out there. There really is. And my sort of story, which it's really always stayed with me. It's from my best friend at school. I was maybe just 13. I remember lying in a park and we were looking, and I said, oh, I've never found a four-leaf clover. They're so rare, so difficult to find. And my friend basically explained, oh, they are there. You've got to believe that you're going to find them first. And then that will mean that you will. And it really does work. I have to say, I know there's loads of 4 or 5 leaf clovers out there. And hello, David. Thank you for joining us. And it's just a chance to really focus. And if you give yourself time and you believe that they're out there, my top tips for finding 4-leaf clovers is, of course, about pattern recognition. So taking your time, believing that you will find one. I found the most actually by areas like beside a road or a path. I reckon disturbed areas are more likely to mutate. So I found lots more in those sort of places. So keep your eyes peeled, and I'm wanting to help make you a symbol of good luck. So the clover that I'm bringing along, it's a fold. So it's from an amazing origamist from Yaki Shingu. He's got a lovely website, Origami Club. I really recommend checking it out. Lots and lots of things. And I thought the clover would be rather lovely. So if you haven't already got it, it's up to you whether you use papers. If you have papers already, you might want to use those. I tend to just show you how to make out of A4 paper or scrap paper. I've actually used scrap paper here. And then adding colour yourself, which I think is quite nice. So hello, Wendy. So if you wanted to, maybe go and grab yourself some green pencils or pens, or you might want to do that at the end so you can colour your piece, because white doesn't look quite right. I think it needs to be green. So it's a modular piece, which means little bits of ones that plug together. It's a little bit loose. This one stayed together. This is the back of it. So it sticks up a little bit. You may find yourself needing a little tiny bit of glue or sellotape to keep it together, or if you're to blue tack and put it up. So don't worry if it seems to fall apart. I have to say that happened for me too. I've made it a little bit more three-dimensional, which helped. But yeah, so I will be showing you. Right, it's almost 5 past, so I reckon we can get going in just a moment. And yeah, I hope you're going to enjoy this. Yeah, so that's my top tips for finding 4-leaf clovers. Is definitely to believe that you can find them. To look maybe in areas that are disturbed land, so maybe beside roads. Hello, Penny. Pavements near there. You will find them. They are out there, and they're so easy to press. I found mine and just shoved it in my phone case actually. So that's just from yesterday. What a lovely clover. Right, I'm wishing us all good luck at the moment. So I'm going to take my computer out. It feels really funny because it's been a couple of weeks to me. I might be a bit rusty. We'll see. I started folding other things, so I was just having to practice. It's my latest ones for myself, really. So these are quite fun. Meta rings, these are called, after the origamist that created them. I've done these ones with train tickets. Oh, I could be glasses. Anyway, I'm trying to keep to simplish things to help people, because for many of you, this is new, and I'm keen to slowly build up your confidence and to do things, I think, with a lot of symbolism as well. So, but I also play myself because ultimately I just love it. That's the reason I do it. So if you grab yourself a piece of paper. Oh yes, Amanda, you tried as well. Excellent. Yes, I think I saw it. You share some pieces too. It's a lovely thing to do. To me, it almost looks like a sort of ancient Greek. Isn't that amazing? Like some kind of ancient Greek amulet, or it feels amazing. It's quite hard to train tickets. I don't recommend that, but it's very satisfying. I got it to work eventually. Determination. I think it can be something to focus your mind. So I reckon this would be a fairly big-ish piece of origami. But if you take, for example, a big piece of paper like this, you can fold it in half. We'll end up getting 4 squares from it. So I'm going to show you how to fold from one piece of paper. Up to you how big you want to do your squares. So obviously each square will be a leaf. There we go. I think I'm wondering about maybe next week doing the more traditional symbol of luck in Japan, which is of course the crane. And I actually haven't demonstrated that one yet. So I think I may have to do that one next. So folded it in half. Again, good strong folds, nice and strong. And then you should be able to tear it. And Stephen and Penny are with us from the British Origami Society. And I'm extremely honoured to be asked to do share some folding as well, and sharing for the British Origami Society convention, which is very soon. So it's on Sunday the 13th, I think that is. Thoroughly recommend. There were some amazing origamis. The people who really invent this, I have to say, I have not invented pieces. I am purely a fan and an enthusiast, and I hope I'm encouraging others. Is the reason that I learnt it, was asked to learn it and pass it on. So that's what I've been doing. I have to say, I find so much poetry in it all, really. Sorry, I'm chatting away. So I've made a long strip. Next, we want to make squares. So take a corner, line it up. And we're going to end up making 4 little squares. That's right. And we want to cut there, or ideally fold. So turning it over, bringing it back. I tend to try to do it on the bigger side so I can show you really. So hopefully it's working for you. You'll get more and more familiar with how to make squares, or maybe you've got squares already. So thanks for your patience if you're waiting. Right, I will tear that. So I guess there's different ways of doing modular. One is you could do each piece separately. I tend to like to do them all together. I found that the most efficient way. Again, another square. If you're doing huge numbers, then you can do little batches, but this is just 4, so it's all right. Again, getting rid of this, turning it over. That's brilliant. It'll be lovely to see your 4-leaf clovers that you make, or any you find. Probably made is more rare, isn't it, really? Maybe more special. That's right. Almost there. Right, so we've done 2. Again, another square. Do shout if I'm going too fast, or I should speed up, whatever. Again, turning it over, bringing it back, lining it up. There we go. Almost there. Patience, patience. Wobbly, never mind. And another square. To make sure you do 4. You could actually this way do 5-leaf clover too. Are they even luckier? I don't know. Maybe. Turning it over. And again, bringing it back. So there we have our, oops, put it different side. It'll be a biggish 4-leaf clovers. Right, so we've got 4 there. So our next step is to open up one of these little squares. And if we do a horizontal and a vertical, and we might as well do them all together, I reckon. So fold it in half. So the British Origami Society Convention, I'll be sharing a piece from Tomoko for you. So very grateful that she's given permission for that, which is so lovely. There we go. So just do your horizontal and vertical. Again, the same on each piece. And just give a shout if you need to explain anything more. Quite a nice simple step, isn't it? I rather like just stacking them up as they go along, neat and tidy, even though the edges aren't very neat and tidy. I've quite enjoyed actually the tearing. That's not something I'd done before, but it was my efforts to show you that you don't need special paper or tools. And yeah, that helps. So we're going to do our horizontal there. Lovely. And the next piece. Thinking of you all working hard on your pieces now. That's it. Go horizontal and vertical fold. Great. So opening it up, our next step is take the top and folding it into the middle, like so. There we go. And again, doing that for each one. So opening it up, doesn't matter which end, folding it into the middle, like so. There we go. Next one. Opening it up. And folding it into the middle. It's all got very quiet out there. I presume it's because your hands are nice and busy. There we go. And again, opening it up, folding it into the middle. The thing I do like about modular is that you get this sort of repetition. And by the end of however many pieces you're doing, you feel like you know what you're doing, which can be quite satisfying. Lovely. So if you turn it round to the back, to the smooth side, again, just give a shout if you want me to pause or anything, because I'm keen always to keep us together as a group. So what we're going to do is take a side and fold it into the middle in a straight line, like so. I'm going to have to lay that down so I can see what I'm doing. Well, so it was up here and I've brought it down in a straight line, and I do the same on the other side. Again, be nice and critical, nice and exact. Always tricky from the other side. There we go. So it should look like that. So again, we're going to do that to each of our 4 pieces. I'll have a bit more coffee at this point. I've forgotten what it's like chatting away to myself like this. So again, turning it to the other side, to the smooth side, and we'll take the side and fold it to the middle in a straight line, like so. Here we go. Very quiet. So Amanda, was that the first time that you'd done the meta ring? I was attempting to do the 5 tetrahedral pieces interconnected, and I have to say I got so frustrated. I ended up resorting or looking for something I thought I might just about be able to do, and that was the meta ring, and I was so glad to do something I could master. Yeah, it's very nice. I'm enjoying stacking them up as well there. So again, you've got that fold there, turn it to the back, to the smooth side, and again taking the side and folding in the straight line. Never heard it before. Yeah, it is. It's really cool. And I enjoy playing around with different materials. So I actually had a go after doing my nice colourful one, which is gorgeous origami papers. I then had to go with silver foil, and that worked really well. And then I thought, why not try the train tickets and see what pattern emerges? So it's a very cool origamist. So I think she's published some books as well. I love those rings. I think there's something very calming about that. Yeah, very nice. And no glue. What a wonderful thing. Right, so turning it over to the other side. And again, the side. I'm glad you enjoyed that. I'm afraid most of my learning does tend to come from YouTube myself, because I have to say I do struggle a bit with diagrams. I wish I didn't, but I think it's also what's almost had put me off origami, is just finding it so hard. There's something about the spatial side without it being there that's very, very difficult. So for me, it was really a person that got me started. And then I found YouTube videos help me. But often they can lack the credit to the person, which obviously that's not right. So it's really important each time to say thank you. And I should say again, thank you to Fumiyaki Shungu, who designed this and been kind enough to share it, because it's a wonderful thing, community of people sharing things. So our next step is, it's looking like, let's turn it to the other side again. You should have like a little triangle at the top. So our next step is to take the top and we're going to bring it down to that bottom point, but we're not going to fold it completely. You'll see. So aiming down there, can you see little hearts developing? Ultimately, the origami clover is made of little hearts. So I'm going to then turn it to this side. Can you see? I'm just holding it at the moment in place. And what I want you to do, you can hopefully almost feed your finger in there. And you might need to just play around, first of all, to flatten it there. This is the point where I wish I could show you in person. But I reckon just be kind and gentle to yourself. It will work out. So I'm flattening it there. And what I want to do is these little bits that are sticking up, you're going to press them down. So I found it quite good to put my finger in there and squashing it down so it becomes a little triangle. They end up looking a bit like, to me, like two little arrows pointing at each other. So like that. There we go. Oh, and it's lovely to have a colleague here as well. I know colleagues here with us too, which is great. So at UCH, I'm very much encouraging well-being for staff and for patients. So this is something we can all do with very little materials, and it can help bring calm. And hopefully me being here, good afternoon, thank you for coming along. Me being here regularly hopefully is hopefully a nice support as well, and you can be with others. So hopefully it's looking something like that. We might as well sort of do the next step while we're here. So the other side, can you see where it's square? Just want to soften that. We're making it a bit more heart shape. So it should all be lying flat now. Hope I explained that okay. By the fourth one, you'll know what you're doing anyway. So it should look like this. And then if you take the top, you can see mine's not perfect, but it's good enough. Folding it down. So folding things, I don't know, we're a little bit of the way through. I hope that's okay. I'm sure you'll know what you're doing. We could maybe look back on the video a bit later. Yeah, there we go. So we're a few steps in front, I guess. So if you turn it round to the side of the little triangle, and again we're getting the top of the triangle and we're aiming to the bottom here. I hope folding things you're happy just watching and being a part. Or maybe you know what to do. Squash fold, exactly. Or maybe you're just plucking up courage to say hello now. So thank you very much. Squash fold is Yes, exactly. Know all the terminology. I'm still very much feel like I'm an apprentice or student, but hopefully that allows me to relate to everybody else. I think we're all learning, aren't we? Actually, whatever we do. So I'm holding it in that position, turning it around to the other side. And yes, we're about to do some squash folding. Does sound fun. So I tend to like to smooth out this area a little bit first, just in case it's a funny old position, just flattening it along there. And then don't worry if you don't know what I mean. What we're trying to do is, again, squash fold. Thank you for the terminology. And do it in the middle so it's a nice equal little triangle there. Always a little bit tricky upside down. There we go. So hopefully like that. And then the other side, the same thing. And it looks to me a little bit like two arrows coming together. There we go. And then you should be able to squash everything down now without having to sort of hold it in place. Holding in place by itself. So this top square corner, you can then fold in. We're thinking there's a heart. And actually, let's make it more heart-like. And again, this side. And then taking the top and folding it in half to that. So taking that and trying to fold it down to the line there. She says. There we go. There we go. Right, great. We've not got much more to do once we've done the 4 of them, but we're only halfway through, aren't we? So again, your next one, turning it round. There's a little triangle. Oh, thank you. Excellent. Oh, that would be nice. We'd love to see your clover. So taking the top and bringing it down there. Yeah, it's funny. I felt it was quite hard for me to take a break, but I definitely have gained from it. I think, and I think it's also important to say, actually, I'm encouraging people to look after their well-being. Then I should also give myself a break too, because I love it, but it's still trying to think of things to do and hopefully motivating people. And whatever we do, we all should be taking breaks. And thank you for being happy to have me back. Happy as well. It feels like September is quite a different sort of month, isn't it? So it feels like a time of change. And let's wish us all good things and for good health. So again, this squash fold. So squashing it so it makes that little triangle at the top. It's my very wobbly edge paper, but it's still working. And the same here. After this, we've just got one more to do. I don't know if you're keeping up. I hope so. Please do say if ever you need me to slow down or explain, because I'm always keen for us to be working together. Imagining us around a table. That's it. Lovely. Sorry. While we're here, we might as well soften again this edge. So this top corner. I'd forgotten then. That's it. There we go. Well, it's not perfect, but it's good enough. Again, taking the top and holding it down there. It's nice doing something live, isn't it? I think that feeling that we're here together in a moment of time, not that things are always just recorded, I think is quite special. The things we were taking for granted before, just seeing each other and being able to do things in person. But it's also amazing what's possible, isn't it? Great. So our last piece, so if you're turning it to the back, there's a little triangle there, the top down to the bottom. Now this should all be quite familiar to you, hopefully. And she says, this is probably where it all goes horribly wrong. I'm sort of holding that in the right position. It's a bit tense at the moment until we get these squash folds in. So again, working that through just so it's nice and flat there, I find helpful. And putting your finger in and squashing it there. That's it. Making those two little arrows, it feels like, pointing at each other. Okay, and taking your time, I think that's the key to enjoying it as well, I think. It's no rush. It's not about the end product. It's about enjoying the process. Great. And again, we've got these corners. If you bring that down, and that one here as well, and you're softening it and taking the top and folding it in half, which again softens it all a bit. There we go. Lovely. Okay, so our next step, you've hopefully done those 4. Again, do shout out if you're not, but hopefully this has been about the right speed, I hope. So we're going to take the side and simply bring it in. What would this be? A cupboard fold or something? Oh, if I got the wrong term. We're just folding it in, really. Can you see? I've just folded it in. Last one now. Oh, brilliant. And we can also wait too. So I'll be nice and slow there. Well done. That's it. Lovely. So done one side and then the other side, bringing it in to make this line. And I'll go nice and slowly so that you can catch up there as well. Don't want anyone left behind. We're here together. That's it. Oh, yeah. Hopefully, if you turn it round, it looks like a nice little heart. That could even be a card in itself, because you could open up the back and it can sit there quite nicely. So you could colour that or do that as a card for someone. But they will also come together. Hello, Kathy. Thanks for joining us. Hello. So that's one of them. So I hope you're all together. And again, from this side, if you've been able to keep up, is we're simply folding in half to that midway line. Again, keeping it all together. So good having a messenger, isn't it? Just that little bit lets me know that you're there. I really appreciate it. It's lovely to be with others. And it's so interactive, isn't it, really, origami? I mean, this is the way that I've learned, but it's just so ideal for these times. It's full of meaning. It's full of focus. It allows you to do something tactile. So we're all doing something where we're touching and making something together, rather than just sort of looking at each other and feeling a bit disconnected. We're actually doing something. There we go, which will all make us smile, and others around us as well. So again, this one looks a bit wobbly, but it'll be fine. Also, I think origami, you should also always be a little bit kind and forgiving to yourself. Often it's about being slow and careful, but also kind too. You will get there. That's it. So each side, and bringing that in. That's it. There we go. Turn it round. Have a heart. How nice. And for me, my last one, hopefully for you. But again, I'm trying to keep slow. We're not far off completing it, actually. I thought this would take much longer, actually, because it is modular. So the more little pieces you do, the more it can sort of take time. There we go. And the other side. It's our own little origami group, isn't it? I'm trying to think which fold this would be. So I did it continuously, I think for 21, and then I've taken a gap of 2 weeks. So maybe this is the 22nd. I don't know. But I thought next week, I think the traditional crane, I think it's time for that. The one that we all know, and obviously anyone who does origami will know that, but I think it's important that I get that in there, definitely. Right, hopefully, have you got 4 hearts? 4 little hearts that we'll be able to put together. Are you ready for the next move? Thank you. Oh, well done. Well caught up. Lovely. So as they are now, you could slide them together. I have to say, I quite like making it a bit more three-dimensional. So maybe if I show you first of all how you can do it. As you've got it now, it's very simple. You can purely slip one into the other. Can you see? You might find that it comes apart. Maybe it won't. Let's have a go. Let's give it a go this way. Again, can you just, there's a little slot. Push it in. It should come together. It seems to be working actually. I found before it could slip out quite easily. And you see, so each one of these has a little slot. And it should hopefully just work. Let's see if this works. That's when I find my tongue sticking out, concentrating. But you may find, as you can see here, it's slipping out. So you may need to put in tape. Now, actually, what I did fits like a puzzle. Yeah, it does. The thing actually that I've done, so that certainly works, and clearly it looks like a four-leaf clover. The thing actually that I did, which I found helped to keep it together, it's a bit like, I was thinking of Tomoka Fuse's lovely modular flower of it going up and down. So actually I thought the leaves going in, so you can, if you wish to, it's up to you, or you can watch. I folded it in half like that, so that the leaf will dip in, and then this bit, these little side flaps, I have folded back, and it makes it a little bit more sort of 3D, and I found that grips a little bit better. Can you see? I'll show you the one that I made earlier. Blue Peter side. Can you see it goes in and out? And I think this grips a bit better. So this side folding back. So what I did was I took a piece and I folded it in, that heart in, and those little flaps that will slot into each other, I folded them back. And it's completely up to you, but I think that that will fit together a little tiny bit better, but you may still need a little bit of glue or tape. So up to you. So you don't have to do this at all. This is me just adding an extra element to try to give it a bit more of a 3D feel and a bit more of it gripping. So taking one, folding that heart in half, it's all there though, and then this little side, folding it back. I think I was thinking of the modular flower which does this and how it helped grip together. And this way I think you could fit in 5 petals, so you could do a 5-petal clover, which is even luckier, right? So again, this way, and you might also want to colour your clover in. I thought I might as well just show you this as well. This isn't strictly part of it, but just what I enjoy doing, because it's all this engineering, isn't it, how it can work. I love it. It is like a puzzle. Very true. Glad that you're all putting aside some little bit of self-care time. I hope this can give you that little break in the week. Wellbeing Wednesday, and maybe you can encourage others as well. So again, you can just slot them in, and I think this will, well, it might hold a tiny bit better. Can you see it's less falling out because of the up and downness of it? I don't quite know what the correct terminology is there, but for me it's sticking a little bit better, and I love the angles that origami can give you, so I tend to resist doing something too flat. So there we go, and that final one. So you find from the back it looks quite complicated, but I quite like how it then almost sits up. Oh, this is the point where it gets tricky, doesn't it? But I reckon this way you could fit in an extra 5th petal. So I find then it sort of squashes in a little bit and looks a bit more 3-dimensional. But I would really recommend giving it a little bit of colour, because they have lovely patterns on them. The 4-leaf clover here. Let's see if we can see the patterns. Can you see? They often have this sort of little marks around them, a paler sort of middle to it. Seems to disappear a bit when it's been pressed, but anyway, I'm going to do myself a little bit of a paler little bit there. So I do recommend you giving them some colour, or maybe you've already got some green paper, or maybe in some way you can make it different, but I think it just makes it more recognisable, doesn't it? Yeah, maybe this could make a nice card or a decoration you could put up, something to focus on. That like the finding of four-leaf clover, that we can focus on luck and the good chances that happen in life. And yeah, hope it will wish us well in the term to come, if your children are going back to school or students are going to universities and things. So it's a bit of a strange time. Hence me thinking luck for now. And all doing what we can to look after ourselves. So I won't finish it all now. But anyway, you get the point. So I really hope that's worked for you. It is a bit of a little bit of a puzzle to keep it all together, but I hope it's worked. And hope you've enjoyed the session. Excellent. Oh, going back to school tomorrow. Oh, yeah. My daughter's actually gone to school today, so big change. I think some of the schools started yesterday. So, lock folds. A fold that resists movement. Oh, yes. I was slightly wondering about whether you could do an extra fold so it's just that bit fatter so it stays in. I guess that's very much the engineering side, isn't it? Okay, I'm so glad you could join us as well. Yeah. So here's to a new term and to a new season. And I think probably next week, the traditional crane, and always welcome suggestions as well. Excellent. Ah, yes, that's a good idea, Stephen. That would be lovely because it does have otherwise a tendency to fall apart, but it helps a little bit with that, doesn't it? And yeah, wishing you all well, and I'll be here next week. So Wednesday at 2 are Wellbeing Wednesdays and a good midpoint. Oh, excellent. It's lovely to see you as well. Oh, please do send me a picture. That would be fantastic. Really appreciated. And it's lovely to be here with everyone. I think you're a mixture of people from the hospital where I work, teachers, origamists, just fans of origami, and yeah, anyone who wants to join. Well, take care, everyone. Have a good week. Look after yourselves, and see you next one. Bye-bye. Hope you find some four-leaf clovers as well.